The simulacrum of the Netchman's wife, who carried the egg of Vivec within it, went back to looking for the lands of the Indoril. Along the journey, many more spirits came to see her one daughter, their future glorious invisible warrior poet of Vadenfell, Vivec. A troop of spirits called the lobbyists for the Coincidence Guild appeared. Vivec understood the challenge immediately and said, "The popular notion of God kills happenstance." The head of the lobbyists, whose name is forgotten, tried to defend the concept's existence. He said, saying something at the same time can be magical. Vivec knew that to retain his divinity, he must make a strong argument against luck. He said, "Is not the sudden revelation of corresponding conditions and disparate elements that gel at the moment of the coincidence one of the prerequisites to being in fact coincidental? Synchronicity comes out of repeated coincidences at the lowest level. Further examination shows it the utter power of the sheer number of coincidences that leads one to the idea that synchronicity is guided by something more than chance. Therefore, synchronicity ends up invalidating the concept of the coincidental, even though they are the symptomatic signs that bring it to the surface. Thus was the coincidence destroyed in the land of the Velothi. Then an old bone of the earth rose up before the simulacrum of the Mechaman's wife, and said, "If you are to be born a ruling king of the world, you must confuse it with new words. Set me into pondering." "Very well," Vivec said. "Let me talk to you of the world which I share with the mystery and love. Who is her capital? Have you taken the scenic route of her cameo? I have, lightly, in secret, missing candles because they are on the untrue side, and run my hand along the edge of a shadow made from 103 divisions of warmth, and left no proof." At this, the old bone folded onto itself 20 times, until it became akin to milk, which Vivec drank, becoming a ruling king of the world. Finally, the Chancellor of Exactitude appeared, and he was perfect to look upon from every angle. Vivec understood the challenge immediately and said, "Certitude is for the puzzle box logicians and girls of white glamour who harbor it on their own time. I am a letter written in uncertainty." The Chancellor bowed his head and smiled 50 different and perfect ways all at once. He pulled the astrolabe of the universe from his robe and broke it in half, handing both halves to the egg image of Vivec. Vivec laughed and said, "Yes, I know. The slave labor of the senses is as selfish as polar ice, and worsens when energies are spent on a life others regard as fortunate. To be a ruling king, I will have to suffer much that cannot be suffered, and to weigh matters that no astrolabe or compass can measure. The ending of the words is Alum Sivi." So, the visage of the Velothi woman that the Dwemer made was not just a statue resembling her. It was an animated mechanical construct, and it went on to the lands of the Indoril. But why? This sermon never explains it, but I doubt the Dwemer would have instructed their creation to carry Vivec to its destination. Were they that much shaken that they set their effigy on the same path as the Vivec's mother? Or was it Vivec himself directing the animunculized steps? Either way, along their journey, many spirits came to Vivec, as they did in the past, and just like then, they imparted knowledge to Vivec. Eventually, spirits were approaching him not to share their wisdom, but to challenge him. First came the group of spirits, who promoted an idea that coincidences can just happen on their own. However, Vivec, becoming a god, had to defy this idea. Their entire exchange is that the spirits claim that random events happen, and eventually the circumstances can lead to a creation of a god. Vivec refutes this idea by declaring that all events are the result of the will of a god. This stance is one he has to take in order to defend his position and reputation as a god. Would he still be worshipped if people knew he came to be by chance? Or even if he attained his godhood through his own endeavor? Who's to say he didn't just get lucky? Which he did, if you believe other esoteric scriptures, he, by mere luck, came across Indoril Nervar and became his guard, and this way the coincidences would no longer occur in Morrowind. Then Vivec was approached by Earthbone, one of the Aedra that were wholly consumed by the creation. He demanded that Vivec would make him wonder. Vivec spoke to him of the Nirn and claimed to have secretly but fully explored all of it and left no mark on the planet. Hearing this, the Earthboat condensed itself into its essence, which Vivec drank. This way he absorbed the Aedra's power and wisdom and became a ruling king. Ruling king refers to a being of great knowledge, wisdom, power, and responsibility. Then another spirit came along, the Chancellor of Exactitude, a spirit that deals in absolutes. Again, this spirit represents a concept that everything is tangible and can be measured. Vivec knew what he must do, and told the spirit that certitude is for puzzle box logicians and girls of white glamour. It would seem that puzzle box logicians here refer to the Dwemer, who using logic and deduction have anchored themselves in the world, inflexible in their convictions, while the latter refers to people of vanity, who focus only on what they can know for sure. Vivec then told the spirit that he is a letter written in uncertainty. Whether it means a message or just a symbol, a letter, is not clear, but what he means here is that his path is not set in stone. He is unpredictable in his actions and capabilities. At this, the spirit pulled an astrolabe, tool of measurement, and broke it in half, giving both pieces to Vivec. This symbolizes his surrender to the Vivec's divinity, that he truly is impossible to measure or predict. The next words of Vivec are very interesting. The slave labor of the senses, being grounded in reality which ultimately is not real. It is all part of a dream of a god, and the effort of those senses is more tiresome when one is rich and abundant in luxuries. This promotes life of hardship and struggle, which is very ingrained in Dunmeri culture, being taught through Veloth by Mephala and Boethia. Vivec admits that to be a god is to be in a position of great power and also great responsibility, and he will have to make difficult choices and suffer for his people.